Before we begin, this video is based on currently available information and announcements on games coming out in February of 2026, and reflects our personal views on them. As always, we recommend you make your own informed call by looking into each game yourself and ensuring they match your expectations, standards, and personal values. With that out of the way, let's begin. After a relatively busy but still low-key January, the annual release flow begins in earnest this February. Multiple big-name sequels to long-running franchises, at least one remaster and remake, a new Grasshopper Manufacture title that's equal parts trippy and epic. It's all here, with a steady amount of big titles each week. Check out the 15 biggest new games of February 2026, starting with none other than Resident Evil Requiem. The big one, the main event, the raison d'etre for many survival horror fans. With the long-awaited return to Raccoon City, a fusion of first and third-person perspectives, and Leon S. Kennedy looking more fly than ever, Resident Evil Requiem is simply the game to watch out for in February. It's been a long time coming. Can you believe Resident Evil Village was almost 5 years ago? But based on everything we've seen thus far, it will be worth the wait and then some. Look for its launch on February 27th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Nioh 3. Let's have a dream of everlasting peace, said Tokugawa Ieyasu, probably to which his younger grandson probably said no. With a Kyoto beset by yokai and no other options, it's on Tokugawa Takechiyo, the rightful heir to the title of Shogun, to travel back in time and fix things. But even as it incorporates new open-field elements for non-linear exploration, seamless switching between samurai and ninja styles, and all kinds of nasty new enemies, Nioh 3 retains that addictive hack-and-slash gameplay and masochistic difficulty that we know and love. It's available on February 6th for PS5 and PC, with a free demo available for both now. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. The art style, the music, the visual overhaul, everything about this screams old-school adventure. Granted, this isn't the first different edition of Dragon Quest VII, but the developer just isn't aiming for fancier graphics. It's also streamlining the original story, adding new content and bringing quality-of-life features, like instantly defeating lower-level enemies in the field. Couple this with new activities and the new moonlighting system for combining vocations, and Dragon Quest VII Reimagined could be the best possible version yet, when it launches on February 5th. Romeo is a dead man. Say what you will about Suda51 games, but one thing is for sure. You never know what to expect. So the concept of Romeo is a dead man, where one Romeo stargazer dies, revives, and hunts criminals across space and time with the special dead gear? Not exactly on everyone's bingo card. Nevertheless, the surreal presentation, the bloody hack-and-slash combat with a delightful assortment of weapons to wreak havoc, and over-the-top bosses will more than suffice when it launches on February 11th for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. BlazBlue Entropy Effect X. If you enjoyed Dead Cells, then BlazBlue Entropy Effect offers one of the more low-key enjoyable and addictive roguelite side-scrolling experiences out there. For its console release, however, 91 Act is going bigger, adding a new story centered around the Sea of Possibility, with Ace seeking the Shards of Possibility to save the world. If none of that matters to you, don't worry. Entropy X adds Nioh Kuragane as a new playable character alongside new bosses, enemies, stages, and more. Mario Tennis Fever. I've got a fever, and the only solution is more Mario Tennis from Camelot. I don't think any campaign can ever match up to Mario Tennis Power Tour, but Fever's setup of having baby Mario and friends relearn their tennis skills at least somewhat enticing. Beyond that, the real hook is the new Fever rackets, each with unique abilities called Fever Shots that can turn the tide of a match. Couple that with mix-it-up modes, unique twists, and a whopping 38 playable characters, and Mario Tennis Fever could probably be a sleeper hit when it launches on February 12th for the Switch 2. Ride 6. Arriving about 2.5 years after Ride 5, Ride 6 makes the jump to Unreal Engine 5 while packing over 250 bikes. The usual stars appear, but this time players can also take baggers and enduro bikes onto the track. And if you prefer something a little more freeform, off-road tracks finally properly debut in all their dirty glory. Couple all this with a new career mode, Ride Fest, which sees you going up against legendary bikers in their category of choice, and Ride 6 is looking packed ahead of its release on February 12th. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. A visually improved version of Yakuza 3 probably would have been enough, but RGG Studios went the extra mile by revamping the combat system, adding new activities including managing a gang of bikers, progression systems, and even a whole new side story focused on Yoshitaka Mine. All of this just for $69.99. Are we a little worried after the demo was rated mostly negative on Steam? Well, yeah, sure, but maybe there will be some improvements, at least visually, before its launch on February 12th for PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch 2. Reanimal. How do you create something that's somehow even more disturbing than Little Nightmares? Tarsier Studios apparently has the answer with Reanimal, a story about two siblings seeking to find their friends after an unknown event has brought overwhelming horror into their lives. The mood, the aesthetics, the isolationism, it's all here, but darker and more expansive. Launching on February 13th for Nintendo Switch 2, PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S, Reanimal invites you to pick up the pieces of a fractured home, or die trying. Astrobotanica. Even after years of the same crafting, harvesting, farming, and building in this genre, Astrobotanica's premise has me intrigued. It's set during prehistoric times, but this isn't a Far Cry Primal situation. Instead, you're an alien named Shell who must study and collect plants to tolerate the atmosphere. From there, hijinks with Neanderthals, mysterious sites, 6 skill paths, and more await. Of course, it won't be accessible. Astrobotanica launches into early access on February 16th for PC, but it still promises dozens of hours of exploration. Styx, Blades of Greed. Why send in an orc to tear down the front door when you could send, well, an orc to rob everyone blind? Styx returns in his third adventure, this time with a crew and a hankering for quartz. 3 massive sandboxes await, and based on the multi-level wall where you can jump down chimneys to infiltrate kitchens and poison meals, or mind control guards to do a flip, there are a lot of options for stealth sandbox fun. It's launching on February 19th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. Ys 10, Proud Nordics. The original landed somewhat less ideally than I would have liked, especially compared to Ys 8 and 9. Proud Nordics doesn't look to severely overhaul its combat system so much as add new content in the form of the Island and a story revolving around a mysterious mana user. Regardless, if you're hungry for more, from arena battles and new bosses to fresh mana actions, Ys 10, Proud Nordics is worth watching out for when it launches on February 20th for PS5, Switch 2, and PC. Aces of Thunder. Replaying Ace Combat 7 or diving into Project Wingman to prepare for Ace Combat Ace is nice and all, but what about flight combat in VR? That's what Aces of Thunder promises when it launches on February 3rd for PC, PS5, and PlayStation VR 2. Between an extensive range of World War I and World War II aircrafts, full HOTAS support, and 15 maps, with War Thunder developer Gaijin Entertainment at the helm, it looks like it could be the most immersive dogfighting sim yet. And while VR is ideal, an optional non-VR mode is also available. Tales of Berseria Remastered. Why a remaster of Berseria, especially when Zilla 2 is right there? A question for another day, perhaps, but at least it's one of the more well-received entries in the series. Launching on February 27th for Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, PC, and PS5, Tales of Berseria Remastered adds the usual quality of life options, from turning off enemy encounters to accessing the grade shop from the start. You even get a healthy chunk of DLC from the original. Chromeagun 2, Die Hard. We won't be getting Portal 3 anytime soon, but there are plenty of other first-person puzzles worth diving into, such as Chromeagun 2, Die Hard. Aside from the obvious riff on certain plot elements, the concept of walls attracting enemies, sentient or otherwise, of the same color is intriguing. Painting the world red or blue or orange to progress and hopefully not suffer agonizing death at the hands of many killer robots. Hey, did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.